Okay, so I have two of them here. This one is Ezekiel 44 verse 9, and this is from the Bible, from Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel 4 verse 9, and it says, take also unto thee wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and spelt, and put them in one vessel and make a bread of it. So this is the original low glycemic flourless sprouted grain bread. It's only 80 calories a slice, and I just told you what was in it, okay? These are all very healthy ingredients. They also have a lot of fiber in them, so I like this one. I like the cinnamon raisin, of course. I get to indulge my sweet tooth just a little bit. And also, this is the same kind, but this is a store brand, Simple Truth Organic. And this is the sprouted grain and legume bread. This is excellent. Now, my husband likes this kind because he likes to make his sandwiches out of this one. Now, this one has one slice. It has 90 calories. And I kind of recommend these breads because they are very helpful, very nutritious. And so if we eat bread, that's what we eat. And you know, I haven't been eating much bread, you know, ever since I started on this journey, but I did decide to just, you know, treat myself of this bread that I like. I might have 1 or 2 slices in a week, you know, because I'm trying to continue my weight loss journey. Anyway, so whole foods, that means not processed. You don't want to eat, you want to have a lot of fruits and vegetables, beans. Well, you have to cook beans, but still, they're not processed, okay? It's not like I'm talking about eating that kind of bean dip stuff. I'm talking about beans, whole beans, all right? You know, just whole food. No potato chips, no candies, no cookies, cakes, pies, okay? And I'm saying no to that. And I'm serious as a heart attack, okay? Do you want to lose weight or not? How long do you want to take to lose the weight? This is not rocket science, okay? It doesn't take long to lose weight when you want to. All right, so when you want to lose weight, you're going to have to do that. You got to stop eating those pretzels. What else? What else? You know, crackers, all that stuff is processed, okay? And if you just can't stop eating it, then you're going to have to find a healthy alternative, all right? I won't be that rigid on you, but you're going to have to find a very healthy alternative, which they are many healthy alternatives. If you want something crunchy, get a cucumber and put it in some guacamole. You feel me? Okay. So you want to have your whole foods. You want to have your low-fat meats, fish, chicken. There are some cuts of beef that are very, very low fat if you are, you know, a beef eater. Now, at one time, I was completely whole food, plant-based as an eater. Okay, that was my nutrition, and I love that a lot. However, as I'm getting older, I've had to add some lean meat protein into my diet because I don't want to eat a whole, you know, mountain of beans all the time or eat a mame. So I just went ahead and I do eat some chicken, some fish, some shrimp, those type of lean meats, okay? So, yeah, what did I say? I said fiber, whole foods, lean meat, healthy fats. You know, the first one I'm going to say is what? Avocado, okay? So you want to have those as your staples of your diet. And I'm going to tell you a little, not a tongue twister, but a little saying that I go by. I eat probably the same things pretty much all the time right now because variety is the enemy of progress in my experience, okay? I'm not going to start eating this, that, the other, okay? I'm going to stick to what is working. KISS, keep it simple, stupid. I'm not calling y'all stupid. I'm just saying, okay? Simplicity at this time is very, very important. So let's go on with the meal prepping, okay? Don't drink your calories. Not unless you're having something like a protein smoothie, something like that, that's going to actually replace a meal because maybe it has 200, 300, 400 calories. Don't drink your calories. And what I'm talking about there, don't sit there and say, oh, I got to have a glass of wine with dinner. Do you know how much white wine, how many calories it has? It might have 150 to 200 calories out of your little amount of calories that you are allotted a day. I don't know about you, but I would rather chew 150 calories rather than drink it, okay? So let's just not have any alcohol right now at all. You know, personally speaking, I usually drink alcohol for special occasions. I'm going to a wedding, it's New Year's Eve, things like that. I really don't like to just keep it in my house and drink it, maybe on a holiday, you know, but I just don't have a taste for it that much. And really, you know, what is it doing for me nutrition-wise? That's the question. So don't drink your calories. Don't drink a whole bunch of whole milk. All right. That's not really good for you anyway. Don't drink a bunch of sugary juices. You get my gist, right? Don't drink your calories. Try not to anyway. The other thing about alcohol is that it loosens your inhibitions. So once you drink that one glass of alcohol, you'll be like, well, you know, let me get some of those cookies. Let me get some of that cake. You know, let me eat some of these potato chips. It lowers your inhibitions so that you may go ahead and cheat on your meal plan anyway. It is very important, very, very important. The other thing is, don't keep food in the house that you know you're not supposed to be eating. Shall I repeat that? Don't keep food in the house that you're not supposed to be eating. In other words, it's not on your meal plan. Now, I know I've heard this before, everything in motivation, okay? And I should be able to use my willpower and not eat those things. How's that working out for you? Let me just ask you that, okay? Is your willpower so strong that you got your favorite food up on the refrigerator and you're not going to eat it? I'm going to tell you what, my willpower is not that strong. So I just don't bring things into my house that I know I'm not supposed to be eating. That works for me. And as I said, I'm giving you my weight loss hacks. All right. Now, number 7, keep a food menu journal. And I'm going to show you mine. And I'm going to talk about something that I should have talked about a little earlier, and that is with your meal plan. When you make this meal plan, you want to use SMART goals. And so I have my SMART goals listed right here. SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time limited. That's your SMART goals. That goes in your meal plan. Now, meal plan journal, it doesn't have to be fancy. My friend gave me this. It's a prayer journal with Bible verses on every page. And I turned it into my meal planning journal and my menu journal, because I write out my menu every night for the next day. And then everything is prepped. I have no excuse for not eating right anymore. So anyway, so specific. My specific goal here was get back to 150 pounds. Measurable. I measure it by the number on the scale and how my clothes are fitting me. Attainable. It's only 11 pounds, right? It's not like I got to lose 100 pounds by next week. This is attainable. And realistic, again, it's only 10 pounds. So my time limited goal, I gave myself 2 months by October 31st, which is coming up soon. What is this, October 1st? So yeah, so those things were, you know, how I use my SMART goals. The other thing under measurable is I'm going to go back to my doctor and I want my A1C to be below 5.7. All right. And that is a big, huge goal for me because I have to manage my health. So some of the things that I'm doing that I'm talking about right now that have to do with my SMART goal are, number 1, I plan my meals out. I write down what I'm going to eat, and then I actually well, that one got all messed up. Okay, here's a good one. See, I cross everything out as I go. But anyway, I do my meal planning here. I write out what I'm going to do, what I'm going to eat. And here's the funny one, okay? Now, my husband, he's sweet, he's gentle, he's kind. Whenever he goes to the grocery store, not so much recently, but normally he'll call me and say, well, do you want any of this, honey? Can I get you your favorite sesame sticks or, whatever? You want some Mike and Ike's? Something like that, because he knows I like those things. And so I had to tell myself, don't answer yes when Jim asked me if I want some junk, okay? Because that was really important that I remembered to do that, because that was, again, one of those bad habits that I had gotten into while I was sick. And boy, oh boy, I would answer yes, okay? Well, how many Mike and Ike's boxes do you want? Well, I just want one. He would come home with about 8 of them, right? And he would put them in the cabinet and supposedly hide them for, next time, because he knows I'm going to ask for some more, right? He not stupid. He knows, even though I say I only want one box, okay? So I had to repeat my motivational words. Now, my motivational words are words that I told myself, okay? I'm a slim and trim person. I eat like a slim and trim person. I exercise like a slim and trim person. And so whenever I found myself, with a craving of stuff that I know I shouldn't be eating, I will repeat those words. And I repeat those words really just like sometimes while I'm out driving, sometimes while I'm exercising, sometimes when I'm praying, and you can pick your own words. Pick some words that give you that commitment to stick to your goals, okay? The other thing is I said I would exercise a minimum of 30 minutes 4 or 5 times a week, and to start walking again when the weather becomes warmer. And at this time, it should be when the weather becomes cooler, because it was really hot, all right? And so I wrote down here, I walked on August 18th, 2.91 miles for a total of 58.45 minutes. I'll be playing with some numbers, y'all, okay? I'm a numbers person. Everywhere I go, I'm counting stuff. When I go to church, I count how many people are there. I count who isn't there, okay? I just count. And that's how I am. Everybody has their little things that they do. Some people call them weird. I just say that's part of my personality. I am a counter. So I write things down, okay? So before I digress on into the next video, all right, I said number 7 is to keep your meal prep and food journal. Here's mine. And let's see. I also write down my exercises in this book. Now, I'm a baby boomer. I like to handwrite things. I realize that some younger people probably have apps on their phones and everything where they can input all of this information. But I will tell you, whatever you do, put it in there. Count it. What can be measured can be managed. What can be measured can be managed. And I got that from one of those Skinny Tok influencers too. And I thought that was pretty cute because I'm into measuring things with numbers. So let me go here. Okay, I think I went ahead of myself a little bit before, but number 8, again, was stop eating by 6 o'clock. I'm not going to repeat that because I already talked about it. And I showed you my fitness tracker, which is here, okay? And I got days and days and days of monitoring and writing down my workouts, every day when I go for my workout, okay? So I keep this because this is a visual reminder of what I do, and each time I want to increase what I do, I write it down in here so I can see how I'm progressing. So do keep this kind of tracker. You can write it down, put it in an app, whatever. Okay, it will help you. So that's the fitness tracker. Okay, number 9, stop snacking. Okay, stop snacking. Cut it down. to the least amount possible, all right? And if you are going to snack, put those snack calories in your menu planning, okay? You can plan to snack. For example, I do like popcorn, but I found that if I limit myself, I have what is this stuff called up here? It's like a Skinny popcorn. Hold on a minute. I want to show it to you. It's not Skinny Pop. It's Boom Chicka Pop. All right. And this Boom Chicka Pop, it says it has 150 calories in 3 3/4 cups. That's almost 4 cups of this. Okay. So what I would generally do is, like, sometimes if I'm really hungry and I'm preparing my meal, I might have 1 or 2 cups. That's only 80 calories, but I account for it in my meal prep journal, okay? Because I know that I might do that if I get really hungry. So this is, it says sea salt popcorn, only 40 calories per cup. And I have found, surprisingly that, I used to sit in the bed and eat tons and tons of buttered popcorn, but I have found that I can just eat a cup of that and I'm fine. What was wrong? Okay, I was just eating too much, just too much. 1 or 2 cups of this is just fine. And I feel good. I feel great. I don't have to eat anymore. Next thing I know, I'm going to eat my little dinner. And, it's just, I can't even understand why. But anyway, that is a very, very low-cal snack. You figure out your own low-cal snack, but eradicate that snacking as much as possible. I keep playing with my hair. I don't know why it's bothering me today. Anyway, yeah. If you can cut your snacking down to a minimum or just stop it, just do that. And actually, I did not start eating my popcorn again until I had lost about maybe 8 or 9 pounds. I'm well on my way to meeting my goal, and I can also track it here, and I won't go over my calorie deficit. If you have any questions about anything that I've said so far, please put them down in that comment section, okay? And I'm happy to answer all of your questions, okay? So I said stop snacking unless the calories are accounted for on your daily menu, okay? Now, this is a big one. Number 10, walk, 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 and walk some more, okay? Now, this is one thing that I had actually forgotten about, because before my back was hurt, I used to walk all the time. As you guys know, I also love to ride my bike, okay? Now, I find that the bike riding does not burn as many calories as the walking, and I can only assume because I'm sitting down and, maybe, I'm just not getting the full weight of my movement, whatever, okay? Walk, 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 and walk some more. Let me tell you what has happened since I started walking like that again. And I have to say, Skinny Tok influencers, thank you, because that is what a lot of them say. They say walk. And, let me just digress for a minute, because there's a lot of criticism that has been leveled on these influencers. They say that they're promoting eating disorders. Do I look like I have an eating disorder? Seriously, okay? I am hale and hearty. I'm going to show you what I got on in a minute, okay? I'm hale and hearty. I don't have an eating disorder. I eat whatever I want. I have never seen one of those videos where they just say, hey, eat some celery and drink some water and that's it, okay? No. That's not an eating disorder. They don't advocate that. And I just wanted to say that real quick. Anyway, but what they do advocate is getting 10,000 steps in a day. Now, I did my research, because not only do I like numbers, I love research. Come to find out that 10,000 steps is not like fixed in, Mount Rushmore or something, okay? It's not written in stone. 10,000 steps was a model that a Japanese company came up with. They made a pedometer, and that was their motto, get 10,000 steps. But somehow we just took it and ran with it. So they advocate 10,000 steps a day. I'm going to tell you something. My average of walking every day, and I probably will do a whole different video on my walking routine, but my average, I want to say, is about between 6,500 and 7,000. And I walk twice a day. I walk in the morning, and then after I eat breakfast. But recently I have been doing it before breakfast because I read that that can help even release more stored fat. But definitely after dinner in the evening, I also walk about 15 to 20 minutes. Why? Because that helps get the glucose out of your blood. And so remember, one of my goals is to lower my A1C. So I do that every day. I'm telling you, if I don't walk, I feel guilty unless it's on one of my off days, seriously. So in the morning, I will walk for about 45 minutes to 50 minutes, and then in the evening I walk again. So just walk as much as you can. My evening walk is just kind of more of a stroll. My daytime morning walk, I'm going a little bit faster. Altogether though, it burns a lot of calories. It makes me feel great. I looked this up again. It's helping to increase my metabolism. Can you believe that? I had no idea. And that sounds funny. I know it does, because that seems like it's kind of obvious. But let me tell you something. The goal of my weight loss, to meet my goal, was supposed to be October 31st. I have met my goal. It is October 1st. And I weigh 150.2. Now by Friday, it better be 150.0, okay? Exactly, okay? But I have met my goal, and actually I met it a couple of days ago. So between August 16th and September 19th, I lost 11 pounds. And that came up to an average of 2.5 pounds a week. Now, that was not what I set out to do, but once I started that walking, and let me tell you, honey, it leaned me out so fast, it wasn't even funny. I just noticed the weight was dropping off, and I was like, thank you, Jesus, for the Skinny Tok videos, because they reminded me of something that has worked for me in the past. So number 10, walk, and you will get that big metabolism increase. Another thing I want to say before I forget is that the research has shown that this walking like that, it speeds up your NEAT factor, NEAT. And so what that is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And so what that is, that you're going to burn calories throughout the day anyway, but when your metabolism, when you're doing this walking, it actually makes you burn more calories at rest. So you could be sitting around doing whatever you're doing, or you could be just doing your activities of daily living, cooking, picking your kids up from school, but they're not specifically exercise related, but you will burn more calories. So that's great for me. I'm glad to hear it, okay? Number 11, you want to lift weights at least twice a week to avoid losing lean muscle mass. Furthermore, you will further increase your metabolism because lean muscle mass burns more calories than fat does. So you want to just, get your weights in there twice a week. Now, I used to lift heavy, but because of my back, I have been limited to the amount of weights that I can lift, and also the amount of, hard weight, heavy weight lifting exercises that I can do. For example, I can't do bent over rows anymore. I can't do dead lifts. So I have to do other things like rows and lat pull downs, and I have to use a lesser weight. If you can lift heavier, more power to you, okay? Do that. Make sure you want to work out with those weights at least twice a week. If you can do more, then go for more. Combine that with your walking, pretty soon you're going to be lean and mean. All right, so yeah, let me move on to number 12, and that is you want to get enough sleep. And I did talk about that just a little while ago. We need sleep. Our bodies need to rest, to recuperate, to renew. Say you just went to the gym and you did all that heavy lifting and everything. Okay, now your body needs to rest a little bit so it can build up that muscle mass. All right, so for me, I take at least, I would say, 1 day off where I just don't do any exercise. Believe me, I feel guilty, okay? And that is because, you know, this has become a habit for me, especially the walking, all right? I was supposed to take off my walking today to do the video, and that's why I'm doing it later, because no, I had to go for my walk, okay? So I now have to discipline myself and just say, listen, it's okay. If you need to not walk on this day, don't go crazy, okay? It's not going to kill me. So you got to get enough sleep because you got to let your body rest. You got to let those muscles, you know, rest and grow as you're building them. So do get enough rest. It also keeps the cortisol down, thus keeping your inflammation throughout your body down. All right. Number 13, this is going to be a controversial one. I'm going to say it anyway. This is a rule. This is a boundary that I have given myself. And that is, I do not eat anywhere other than the kitchen table or the dining room table. I got to drink some water after that one. Excuse me. All right. Don't eat anywhere other than the kitchen or dining room table. The reason why I do that is because I had gotten that terrible habit of taking some snacks upstairs and eating my snacks in bed while I was bored scrolling. Because look at this. I'm watching a movie, but I'm steady scrolling, doom scrolling, okay, while I'm eating, okay? Just a bad habit. So I said, in order to stop that habit, I'm going to eat at the kitchen table. I'm going to eat everything there. I'm going to eat my meal. I'm going to eat my little dessert snack. I'm going to eat whatever is going to be at the table. So that is something that has really worked out well for me. I'm cutting it off at 6 o'clock at my kitchen or dining room table. Number 14, occupy your mind and hands. As I just said, instead of occupying my mind the way I should have, I'm looking at a stupid movie and doom scrolling, okay? And the reason why I'm scrolling is because I was bored, okay? I was bored. If you're doing something that's boring you, you need to stop being bored. You need to do something that is going to occupy your mind. You need to learn something, all right? Learn a new language. Learn how to play an instrument. You know, do something. Draw, paint. I do calligraphy. That's something that you guys didn't know about me. And so let me show you something, because I just did 68 place cards for my friend's upcoming wedding reception. I'm going to show it to you right there. So I had to get back into doing my calligraphy because I am an artist and I do sell my work. I do lessons. And, you know, now that I'm retired, I have so much time. Calligraphy is done very slowly. And so my mind is occupied while I'm making my strokes, because calligraphy is not just like taking an ink pen and going like that. It's not just cursive writing. It is, you know, the letters are formed stroke by stroke. So I'm thinking, my mind is occupied. What does that look like for you, where you're going to occupy your mind and your hands instead of being bored to death and trying to assuage your boredom by eating? Put it down in the comment section. Can you think of anything that you can be doing, you know, during the evening that's going to help you to not be bored? Okay, it's a million things. I want you guys to think about that, because that is very, very important. You got to occupy your mind and your hands. And so I'm just about wrapping it up right now. And I hope that some of these hacks, will help you, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to get down on anybody, because whatever I'm saying to you, I applied it to myself first. Okay? I applied it to myself first. One other thing though, and I guess you can call that, where am I? Number 12, is that I kept track every week of my weight. And so let me just show you what that looked like also. And so to my delight and my chagrin, my weight was steadily going down every week. And I'm one of the kind of people, I do like to weigh myself every day, because I just want to keep track. I want to know where I am at any given time. A lot of people don't like that. They might just weigh themselves once a week, once a month. Do you, okay? I'm doing me. I like to know where I'm at any given time, because I want to be able to make adjustments, all right? And I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm at 150. I probably will go down to 147, because I want the scale to stay between 147 and 150, all right? That's my boundary, 150. So I'll probably go down another 3 pounds. Not a big deal, but that's just how I am. I like to get on that scale and see where I am and make adjustments where needed. So let me just tell you something before I go. If you're struggling on your weight loss journey or just getting started, let me leave you with this little quote by John Greenleaf Whittier. And I'm just going to read it here because it's not memorized. You've probably heard it before. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when funds are low and debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. I want to thank you all for watching today. I hope this video has been helpful to you, and I will see you in the next one. God bless you. I'll see you next time.